Well, your slide is up, but I'm going to go ahead and read my script while you get
Oh,
your full screen slide up.
okay.
So on that note, once again, welcome to part one of our first double feature of the 23rd Annual Northwest Interlibrary Loan and Resource Sharing Conference. Today's date is September 20th, 2023. This session is titled Bringing Users Back to the Library and will be presented by Tony Landolt from Research Solutions, Reprints Desk, also known as Reprints Desk. My name is Miriam Wnuk, and I'm the convener for this session. This session is being recorded with permission from our presenter because they retain the copyright, or their company retains the copyright to the information they are presenting. They may choose to request its removal from public viewing in the future by written request to NWILL. However, at this time, it is planned the recording will be made available once captions have been added. Attendees will be notified when the recordings are available. To turn live captioning on, click the CC link at the bottom of the screen and select Show Subtitles. Or just click on CC, and I believe they just turn on now. Okay. If you have a question during the session, please use the Q&A function in Whova, and I will pose these to the presenter at the end of their presentation. We will not be monitoring the chat for questions. And on that note, I will turn the session over to our presenter.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Hello, everyone. Very honored and pleased to be back here at NWILL. I think it's like my sixth or seventh time being here, in person and online. So thank you once again for this opportunity. I also would like to thank the folks who organized this conference. I know it's probably not necessarily easy to do it, but like I said, thank you for the opportunity to present again for the next 20, 25 more minutes here. Real quick, my name once again is Tony Landolt. This is my 37th consecutive year of doing document delivery. I usually don't talk a lot about myself, but usually when I get an opportunity to get in front of ILL folks, I always feel a little bit of special kinship, because when I started in this industry for about the first 15 years of my career, I basically was a runner, photocopying journal articles out of UC Berkeley's library. Back in the mid 80s, after I graduated from college, my best friend called me up on the phone and goes, "Hey, we need somebody to run around Berkeley photocopying journal articles. Are you interested?" And I thought, well, this could be a cool summer job. And the summer job turned into a career. So this is all I've ever done. I very vaguely remember the first day that I did this job. I had 65 article requests, and in 9 hours, I filled 8. And that was all I was able to figure out, because UC Berkeley, if you've ever been there, has 15 or 16 branch libraries at the time. I think it's half that now. So I had a learning experience. And I do remember one of the most fun or the most challenging things I would do about the job would be the fact of getting challenging requests. And the thrill and the rush that I would get when I had the opportunity to fill something that took me 2 hours to find, and feeling like no one else could get that or find that, that was the biggest thrill of all. So after a few years, I was at a company called Infotree from the early 90s up to the mid 90s. I left that company in 2002, started my own document delivery company called Pinpoint Documents. And then hence we moved forward to 2007, when I sold my business to Reprints Desk / Research Solutions, and I've been there ever since. So one thing that I will say about the name of our company, this gets a little bit confusing, and like Miriam had brought up a little bit before, if you hear me say Reprints Desk and all of a sudden slide into Research Solutions, it's the same company. We have a little bit of a branding issue. So for someone like myself who's been here since 2007, I still have a Reprints Desk email address. So until we switch it to Research Solutions, I will continually always call it Reprints Desk Research Solutions. So please don't get confused by it. The core of our academic service, and I'm going to divide this up into 2 different portions here. The first several minutes, I'm going to talk about our existing document delivery that some of you on the call have used for many years. Maybe some of you just signed up recently. And I'll focus in on the existing service today and talk about some of the added features that we've had over the last couple of years. And then with the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes left, I'll dive into the platform, which is really the tool that's picking up a lot of steam. So we have 2 different service offerings to present to you. We have the academic collection, which I'm going to talk right now. And then later on, we have Article Galaxy Scholar. So you can either refer to it as mediated or unmediated. So the core service today that many of you use, really, this is what it's really based upon. We have access to better than 43,000 journal titles that we can pull off publishers' servers within seconds and have them delivered to you. The average cost is around $29. This includes the high publisher pricing and some of the low publisher pricing. So generally, when you combine those two, it averages out to be around $29. Average turnaround time for stuff that we can pull off servers is less than a minute. And of course, not only do publishers open up their journal content to us, they open up their books as well. Now, just to be clear, we don't do book loans. It's not a world we want to be in, not a world I don't think we could be very good at. But if you need a book chapter from a particular book, we can provide that for you. And to be honest with you, I recently saw statistics the other day. 9% of our article requests in the month of August were for book chapters. 8% of that was for academics. So we're realizing that this continues to be a solid service for us. So we could definitely provide that for you. To make the academic service really work, we needed to have a few things. We need to have negotiated rates with all the big and small major publishers, seamless integration, and no embargoes. So what we were able to come up with over the last several years is we have anywhere from 5% off the paywall price up to 50% off the paywall price. And once again, it's seamless integration. Publishers open up every content to us, and we're able to provide that content to you quickly and timely. The publishers you see in front of you are the ones we get the most academic requests for. And if you would like to have a free account to check the publisher list and who we work with, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So one of the things that we realized when we started getting into the academic world, and I'll be very honest with you, and I'll be very selfish about this, I had done corporate up until about 2013, and that's all I had ever done. And I thought when I rolled into the academic market, I thought it would be real easy for me to basically go to an interlibrary loan librarian or access services, collection development, whoever's in charge of making decisions. And all I can basically say to them is go, hey, look, I got this service where I can provide you 40% off the paywall price, sign up for a free account and start using us. And then all of a sudden the response I would get is, yeah, that's really nice, but you're not a part of our workflow. So it was sort of like one of those realizations when we got into the academic market that I needed to relearn myself. It wasn't the corporate world. It was a different animal. And I needed to learn really from scratch how to go about the academic market. And really, it wasn't until, key people like maybe a Lars Leon, who maybe some of you know, or Mike Richens from Rapid, who sort of pulled me aside and go, you got a good product. You got a good marketing idea. You have good pricing. You're just not going about it. So hence at that point, we with the partners that you see in front of you on the screen. We started working with Rapid. Now we work with Rapid. Then we got involved with Iliad and did the Odyssey. Then we got involved with Tapasa and then the IDS project with Mark Sullivan. All that sort of helping us and really realized that this is where the place needed to be. It was a situation where we started working with third-party vendors to integrate. And so the key takeaway from all this in front of you is, if some of you use this today using any of these, it's the core of our service. It's the backbone of our service. We have universities who order 2 articles a month. We have universities who order 700, 800 a month from one of these third-party vendors that we work with. And if you're not someone who uses our current service, if you'd like to, it's a free account. It doesn't cost you anything. Some of these take virtually no time to set you up. Some might take an hour, but generally it doesn't take that long. And one of the nice things about any of these third-party services, especially for those who've used this for a while, if nothing breaks, I'm never going to hear from you again. And in many people in the interlibrary loan world, or really in the resource sharing world, this is a great thing to have because it's always reliable. It's always there for you. Now, I will say this. One of the things that we've noticed over the last several months is an uptake, or a lot of universities beginning to start using our order form. And what I mean by that is, instead of using one of the third-party vendors that I mentioned, they'll come to us and go, can you do open URL links? Can you do a pass-through from our link resolvers? Can you do Can you load our holdings for you? And all of a sudden, the conversations are beginning to shift, where we're starting to see universities just simply use our order form to get article requests. We've seen universities now begin to just go into our homepage, get a free account, and submit articles that way. And we're starting to see a huge uptake on that service. I'm not exactly sure why. I do think one of the reasons we're seeing an uptake in that is for the simple fact that if you type in a DOI or a PMID and if it matches up correctly, that article will pop up in the browser in about 15 seconds or less. So speed's all of a sudden becoming a big issue for a lot of universities. And so it's one of the things that we can offer to you, as well as using any of these third-party services. Frankly, I don't really care which service you use. I just want to be able to be one of those service providers that you can use us whenever you need us. And like I mentioned before, we have universities who rely on us every day. We have universities where one request a month on average. So one of the other things that we're taking a great pride in is the service where over the last couple years, we really began to focus in on this. We've always had this print source capability, and it's always been there for us, but I never really thought a lot of universities would take advantage of it because you're using your own network. You're using the World Share, OCLC, you're using your partners, consortiums to get those print materials. But one of the things that we're starting to notice is a little bit more of an uptake on article requests coming to us for print materials. And to give you an example of that, statistics show us now that about 15 to 17% of our academic requests are for print materials. And my colleague, Gordon Brand, who is listening in right now, and he'll put his email address in the chat box. This is Gordon's wheelhouse. Gordon now works directly with a lot of the universities when it comes to print material items, especially for stuff that's extremely difficult to find. You see the British Library on the screen there. One thing I'll let you know is that we are the British Library's #1 client. We send them the most article requests. And our turnaround time with them is usually less than 24 hours. Of course, it's a scanned copy. If the quality is not that good, we ask them to redo it. In fact, for any third-party vendor that we use, if the quality is not acceptable, especially for any of the articles we deliver to the end user, we will redo it at no cost. So this has really been a new win for us. I know it's a system that's always been there for us, but we never really promoted it so much, but now we really are. And so once again, it is a situation where if you ever decide that you really want to use this for print materials, Gordon, who put his email address into the chat, you can reach out to him and ask him some detailed questions. You can try us out for that. And we do have bells and whistles in place to help you control costs with that. So once again, please start looking at us for print material items, especially for difficult citations or maybe end of the earth stuff. We can definitely help you with that. Definitely help you deliver key articles to you, usually in a quick amount of time as well. Now we're going to shift gears a couple things. I bring this slide up because this is a new win for us. This is a brand new partnership. We recently signed back in August an agreement with the Royal Danish Library. So we are now handling, I guess you could say we're handling the country's document delivery. So they're sending article requests to us from all the individual libraries for us to help fill them from outside sources, including print. And so we take great pride in this. This is something we work really hard on. I'm not a big pat on the back type person, but I took a lot of pride in this because we worked really hard to win this deal. And so to actually handle a country's document delivery is actually pretty cool. New and coming features for the academic market. We're always expanding our network. We're always expanding the services. We've added new publishers. They're going to be constantly being added. Reach out to me. I can give you a list of that. New relationships with partners. We're now working with Third Iron, CloudSource, the CDANEX, Clinentech, which is an Indian organization. And actually, there's a lot more listed that I didn't put on this slide, but I just wanted to give the most recent ones. Of course, AI, the new buzzword, we're working in that right now on the corporate side, and it looks like we'll be able to do some of this on the academic side. I've seen some mock-ups right now, but I haven't seen the complete list of how it's all going to fall down or fall to us and maybe be able to present to the academic market. But it is something that we're looking into. And like I said, everybody's familiar with AI now because that's the new buzzword. And then finally, CPP. No, it is not the name of a Russian hockey team. What it's called is called we offer something called copyright paid purchases, hence CPP. What we're able to do is we're offered to offer articles at a price discounted below the academic rate for your compliance needs. And if you really want more information about how we can handle your copyright compliant articles, once again, you can reach out to me or you can reach out to my colleague, Gordon Brand. He will fill you in all the details. But this is a part of our business that is starting to grow as well, as we're just another alternative for you to begin to utilize this stuff. So I only have about 8 or 9 more minutes left. So I'm really going to dive into quickly and really try to explain a good overview of the new service that we're taking great pride in. It's called Article Galaxy Scholar. So the previous discussion that I just talked about was mediated interlibrary loan focus, the bread and butter of our service, the backbone of our service. This is a brand new service that we introduced almost 3 years ago. When we rolled it out in March 2020, we really didn't know what we had. And to be very honest with you, for the first couple of years, we didn't really know what we had. Now, over time, especially over the last several months, we really have figured out what we have to offer and what we can really bring to the community. So what this service really entails is, when we rolled this out back in March 2020, we were trying to figure out, is this simply a document delivery tool? Is this an access service tool? Is it a collection development tool? Really what it is all of those, and it's all of those. And that's really the bottom line, because the people who are utilizing it is either the head of collection development, the head of interlibrary loan, the head of access services, library directors, but we really figured out that we have something very special to offer the community. So here's a high-level view of what the platform really does. So it really begins with the search. So it doesn't matter which search engine you're using. It doesn't matter what discovery you're using, but just let's suppose we're using Primo. A user comes in, and let's suppose you are either have unbundled a package, you're curious about subscribing to a package. Maybe there are titles that your collection development would like to subscribe to, but you haven't decided to. Maybe there's a collection that you need to downsize on. But you're also in that situation or that point where it's like, I don't really want to upset my faculty. I don't want to upset my shareholders because I really want to keep them happy. Hence, we have a tool for you that you can utilize and use. So let's suppose I'm a faculty member at University A, and you come to me and say, hey, Tony, I'm sorry, we have to unbundle this certain publisher. We're no longer going to have access. We'll have history of the back file, but everything from 2023 moving forward, we're no longer going to have access to. And here's 400 titles that we're no longer have access. Well, we have a solution for you. What you're going to end up doing, Tony, is we're going to put this in this platform where once you go through your discovery and click on that link, and because you're a preferred faculty member, I click on the link as me being a faculty, the article request automatically goes to Reprints Desk, and within 15 seconds, that article is delivered to me. All the while, you control the titles, you control how much access, you control which departments get access to this. You control everything, and I mean control meaning the library controls. You control, if you think Tony Landolt's a rock star faculty, you can give me an unlimited amount of access. If I'm just some graduate student, you can give me 5. This all relies on you making those decisions moving forward. You have all that capability. Now, the other thing that happens is, if I'm an undergrad, and I don't know if many of you were like when you were an undergrad, I never read a peer review article to save my life when I was an undergrad. So once I click on that link, instead of that article I'm going to be able to get, you haven't given me access to that. What's going to happen is I click on that link and that article request immediately flows into Interlibrary Loan, where it can automatically populate the ILL form. And at that point, the ILL department makes its decision on what to do with that request. So you have 2 journeys so far. You have instant gratification for a core group of people that you've decided get access, or if there's a bunch of people who don't want to you don't want them to get access to this content, it flows into Interlibrary Loan. The other beautiful thing about this is it incorporates open access. So we use on paywall integration, and we also use our own TAF files and our own robust backend open access filters that will capture OA. So if I'm a preferred faculty member, or I'm not a preferred faculty member, I still get OA and I still get that article for free. So it's really three journeys. It's instant gratification for a certain part of the population. You want them to get gratification. 2, if they're not preferred, it goes into interlibrary loan. 3, it all involves open access. So really, this is the last slide I'm going to focus in on before I wrap it up. I'll quickly go through a couple more, but really, this is really the 5 key savings for the platform. And when we rolled out this platform a few years ago, I was very selfish because I thought, well, you know what, everybody's going to point all their links to us and they're going to spend $15,000 a month and order document delivery from us. The reality of it is, I would say maybe 20% are like that, where they open up and have everything flow to us to handle their packages. Really, it's much more than that because you control everything on the back end. So this slide that you see in front of you was actually developed by MIT. And actually, I'll make this quick real fast. We're actually doing a webinar next Wednesday on the 27th, and that will be added to the chat now. And if you want to sign up for that, you'll be able to see the University of Arizona present on this platform and also get access to 3 previous presentations. But really, MIT came up with this because they said, you know, Tony, we understand the gratification. We understand providing instant access to content, but really it does these 5 key things. Number 1, it saves valuable staff time. This helps you make decisions in the sense of relieves the stress of interlibrary loan, because now you're not having to worry about the instant gratification. You're not going to have to worry about coming in on a Saturday or a Sunday, or maybe coming in Monday and seeing a list of article requests. Those have already been filled. In fact, we see a large amount of statistics that show a lot of articles are filled over the weekend for faculty. So there's one thing, it relieves the stress of the staff that you could focus in on other things. Number 2, it provides fantastic usage and data insights. And one of the things that opened my eyes to this was the simple fact that you had a lot of universities that all of a sudden started coming to me and saying, like MIT and UConn, Rice University, to name 3, who really were discussing statistics, who said, we're starting to figure out that not only which departments are ordering these content, we're figuring out which users are using it, we're figuring out what journal titles are being used, and this helps us make decisions moving forward and possibly resubscribing to certain content. We've seen universities open up around bundle, 5, 10, 15,000 titles to us. We've seen universities open up just 1 because it's a title that cost them $18,000 a year, and they just decided that this was not the best fit for them, and they decided just to put it in the AGS, and in 3 months so far, there's only been 8 downloads. So you're seeing the usage and the data insights and the statistical analysis really be off the charts for you to help you make better decisions moving forward. Maybe you unbundle a package and all of a sudden you start realizing you need to resubscribe to this. Let's not spend so much money at Reprints Desk. Let's resubscribe to that to help us save money. Or on the flip side of it is, you know what, we're doing ROI and it looks like we're saving a lot of money putting that particular title or those publishers into AGS. Once again, limits and controls. This is really something very special for you because you control everything on the back end. Once again, you control who gets access to what. You control the limits. That's all for you to decide moving forward. Improves user experience. So you as the user, there's no dead ends. Those links or those article requests will flow into somewhere to be handled for us to fill it, or it flows into our library loan. And then finally, expand and fulfill search results. If you're a Moneyball person or a statistical analysis person, we're going to give you everything at your fingertips. You'll figure out that turnaround time is less than a minute. You'll figure out statistics on what needs to be filled elsewhere or what needs to be done in a different manner. You're going to have that all at your fingertips. And real quick, since I only have a couple minutes left, this is just an example of what the user might see, where in the past he would see no online access. Instead, he would see something like request article from Article Galaxy or request item from Interlibrary Loan. You might be able to set that up and give a choice for your users. The other thing as well is customization. Everything on this page, except for COVID-19 and the title of the article and the author, everything else is customizable. You can write whatever you want. We've seen universities write like, this is open access, please get it. We've seen universities say, hey, go to Interlibrary Loan to get your article request. This is costing us $30. Do you really need it right now? Customization is going to be key for you. And it also helps you when I'm going a little faster, but just to let you know that if you do customize a lot of things, it helps persuade the user's journey. If you simply write get article request, they'll get the article request. If you write, this is costing us X amount of money, could you go to Interlibrary Loan? You'll be surprised at how many people actually use that link to get the article from ILL. Once again, this is just sort of a background of the administrator backside of things that you can use. That'll all be there for you. You can control how you'll find out how many link outs to date. You'll figure out how many purchase options. You'll figure out how many referrals to Interlibrary Loan. This has actually been pretty fascinating to watch. University of Oklahoma, you'll see like in 8 months, we've filled like 900 open access requests, 400 ILL requests, and purchases we've done 50. And it all depends on how you present the links to the end user. You decide the journey you want them to take. Instant gratification, or do you want them to go elsewhere, particular Interlibrary Loan, to get the request? I know the conversation we had earlier with Sarah Benson about Contu, we can set it up where if you see on the screen ILL to purchase threshold, you can have the first 5 go to ILL. Or you can put that at 0, and then you can put a purchase threshold of unlimited, or you can put 10. So what we've seen with a lot of universities is the first 5 go to ILL, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 go to us. And then after 10, it goes back to ILL. And then finally, this is the last slide before I wrap it up. And thank you for your time because I have a 1 minute left. To separate the collections real quick, our bread and butter Article Galaxy academic collection, we have 43,000 titles, 950 book chapters. It's pay as you go. It's a free account. And then our Article Galaxy Scholar, which you just saw, is really an annual license for the premium model, or we've just introduced a freemium model, which is a one-time implementation fee. And then lastly, here's my contact information. And I just want to say thank you very much for your time. I don't know if there was any questions in the Q&A, but I'll check now. And then finally at 2:55 Pacific time later today, we have a meetup group. And I think Gordon and I will be in there. So I know it's late in the day for the East Coast folks, but I'll be there for a while and see if anybody wants to stop by. Otherwise, thank you for your time. And there, I'll stop sharing.